going to do a little arc to try to get under you. 100 feet back, making that dive. Too cool here.
That 38 is no matter what I do, he's today.
Race friends, it's time for the fastest 2 hours in motorsports. It's time for On Pit Road Racing, right here, right now, live from downtown Las Vegas on the flagship station, the WCOBM Television Network. Our race team will have all the latest news, updates, and interviews for the world of motorsports. So buckle up and pull those belts tight. The green flag is in the air, and it's time to go racing. And here are the hosts of On Pit Road Racing, Alan Michaels and the First Lady, Diane Fox.
There we all are. We're about up on the screen. Alan Michaels here live from downtown Las Vegas from the WCOBM centers. Joining me today, the First Lady of On Pit Road Racing, Diane Fox, is there. She's on the screen. Good afternoon to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
There you are.
I'll be back live in studio soon. I just talked to Dr. Schneck on the phone, and I'll be back live really soon.
Okay, there you go. The third part of this team today from Columbus, Ohio. He is our open wheel reporter, F1 and IndyCar guy. 36 straight years the gentleman went to the Indy 500. Make him feel warm and welcome, Indy Mike. Welcome to the program, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me, Alan. Hello, Diane. And good afternoon to you guys. Good evening out here in the Eastern time zone.
There you go, Mike. Stand by. We're going to get everything rocking and rolling here for you, man. Our special guest today coming up in about 30 minutes is the 1990 Daytona 500 champion, Derrike Cope, will join us live on this program via satellite, along with his lovely wife, Miss Elyshia Cope, who handles market. I mean, this is going to be a great story. I've been biting at the teeth all week long. The show comes to you from the WCOBM studios, live from downtown Las Vegas at 450 Fremont Street. The show airs each and every Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Pacific time. We stream this live on the WCOBM.tv and our Facebook channels. Also, we got it up on Twitter for you right now, and we replay the show on our YouTube channel after it's all said and done. We got it cut ready to go for you right there. Our website is ready to go. In fact, I got an email from Tim, and he is going to stick it up tomorrow morning, so we'll be ready to have that thing up. It'll be at onpitroadracing.com. Want to thank Tim Torres, who set this studio up. He's taking care of all of our graphic stuff. A great guy, Tim Torres. Thank you so much. Official partners for this show is the Gene Woods Racing Experience. Ladies and gentlemen, two great locations for you. 121 East Sunset Drive, right off of the Las Vegas Strip, man. They are the fastest go-karts in town, man. Them things will run 45, 50 miles an hour on a half-mile racetrack, so get out there and see them. Or if you'd like to try something new, we've got the new downtown indoor drift track, and we're just on the other side of that, and it's a really cool thing. 450 Fremont Street. Both locations are open up 7 days a week. You can find them online at the World Wide Web, gokartslasvegas.com. Also, a big shout out to Daylin Woods, our good friends at Woods Family Sandwiches, two locations right here in the Las Vegas Henderson area and also up in Boulder. You can catch them at the World Wide Web, wfsandwiches.com. Great deli, great stuff. Diane, you can actually tell them the chicken salad there is fantastic, ain't it?
It's the best chicken salad I have eaten in my entire life.
There you go, man. There you go. Hot Shoe Hall of Fame, that's what our nonprofit and our charity that we work for, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in the show as it comes along. You can find them at the World Wide Web, hotshoehof.com, and also our good friends at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, LVMS.com. That's what we got looking for you. So, Diane, to get us started off, we got racing weather here in Las Vegas. They're going to be running at the Bull Ring. NASCAR is in Kansas, and F1 is in Miami. So what's the weather look like for racing around the country? And in fact, the weather is brought to you by our good friends at the Woods Family Sandwiches, two great locations, wfsandwiches.com. Go ahead, Diane.
Well, NASCAR, we're headed to Kansas Speedway for the trucks, the Heart of America 200. It's going to be nice in Kansas City that day, high of 82, a low of 65. Of course, the Xfinity is off. Cup Series for the Advent Health 400. There's a 40% chance of rain, a high of 86, low of 66. And because we've lived in Kansas City before, when it says it's 50% chance of rain, it's going to rain. So but it looks like the rain's going to hold off until about 3 p.m. So we'll see. It's kind of a low chance. The F1, they're going to Miami International Autodrome at the Hard Rock Stadium for the Crypto.com Miami Grand Prix. There's a 40% chance of rain and storms, so we'll see about that. A high of 85, a low of 76. Their next race is May 21st in Italy, when we like to go there.
Yeah, man.
Here in Las Vegas, the Bull Ring Championship Series race night number 7 at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway Bull Ring. It's Mother's Day Appreciation Night, and us being here in Vegas, it's been really, really nice these past few days. It's going to be a nice day. A high of 72, a low of 55. Might get a little chilly, halfway through the evening stuff. And I'll bring a jacket, but you'll be just fine.
There you go. Weather's brought to you by our good friends.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And Indy cars off, like Indy Mike said. So their next race, they go to Indianapolis the 13th of May, and NHRA is off until May 21st, and they go to Elwood, Illinois.
There you go. That's what's going on with it right there, man. Yeah, that's the weather. Diane, we'll hang tight with you, man. We're going to bring him in right now, man. It is time for our good friend, Mr. Indy Mike. Mike Togney is joining us live from Columbus, Ohio, and it's time for open wheel racing. And we're talking IndyCar and F1. Mike, let's get it started, man. You said this Scott McLaughlin kid is the real deal, and he sure showed it at the Barber Motorsports Park, buddy.
Yes, he did. He and runner-up Romain Grosjean redeemed themselves from the incident in the opening race in St. Pete where they were battling for the lead, crashed each other out. But first and foremost, it's finally here, the month of May. We made it. The weather outside here in Columbus doesn't say that, but we made it. 25 days, just under 25 days now to the green flag for the 107th Indianapolis 500. We were in just east of Birmingham this past weekend, Grand Prix of Alabama, 4th race of the year. Scott McLaughlin, Team Penske, Chevy Power. He redeemed himself, like I said, from St. Pete. And Pato Award was up in there. So you had 3 Penske's in the, or 2 Penske's in the top 3. And the top 5 in points are 15 points apart total.
Wow.
The top 6, 25 points. And we're heading into the month of May. Diane, as you alluded to, it's the on the IndyCar road course at the Speedway on Saturday, May 13th. And they'll do a quick turnaround, get the track ready for the oval. The cars will go through their changes, suspensions, and wing settings. Practice for the 500 will start that Monday, 2 days later, the 15th. And qualifying the following weekend, and then the race is the weekend after that.
Right.
Oh, it's here. Hey, yes,
Indy,
go ahead.
Mike, are you going to head to Indy?
Oh yeah, I'll be at the race and time trials as well.
Cool.
Yep, Tom Blattner. I got Tom Blattner working on his media stuff for him, so we'll get him in there. A little quick turnaround, 85 laps, Mike. This combines the road course with part of the famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 2.439, 14 turns that are incorporated, taking turn 1 and 2 and part of the front stretch. So these guys are going to get hauling around this little road course, right?
Oh yes, it's a derivative of the original road course that was put in for Formula One back in the early 2000s.
Right.
The first quarter or so lap is exactly the same, but instead of diving down further into the infield behind the Tower Terrace, there's a quick switchback, a quick left and a right to take you onto Holman Boulevard, which serves as the backstretch for the road course. Then as you get near the Hall of Fame Museum, make a hard left, do some snaking through the infield just south of the golf course, back on to Indy Oval 2, running the opposite direction. And instead of flying through turn 1 on the banking, you cut back through the infield where the old snake pit was. Us old timers, we know what the snake pit was about.
I remember the snake pit. I remember the snake pit real well. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, the snake pit is gone. The creek is gone. It's got a road course in there now. And then you come back at the pit exit, which is the pit entrance for the road course, back onto the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway home stretch. That completes your 2.439 miles.
There you go. And that's it. That's it. So it's going to be an excellent. The month of May is here. Of course, Indianapolis, we're getting Mike set up, get him over there, get him down so he can get some live reporting. Hey, man, F1 is making its way around. We're going to get our first stop in the United States this weekend in Miami. But last weekend, it wasn't all Max Verstappen, was it, my friend?
No, it wasn't. It was his teammate. There was a sprint race and the main event won by Carlos Perez. Perez. Team Red Bull. Those two guys have won all 4 races. Max, then Sergio, excuse me. Then Max and Sergio. So those guys, this reminds me of the Marlboro McLaren days back in the late 80s, early 90s with Prost and Senna. And fortunately, these two guys are getting a lot better. They're getting along a lot better than Prost and Senna. Fernando Alonso, our old guy, he just missed his 4th straight podium, his 4th straight third-place finish. He did finish 4th, less than 4 seconds off that podium, Alan. That Aston Martin, they're quietly getting it done. He's model of consistency. He is 3rd in points, firmly entrenched in 3rd. Distant 3rd from 2nd, and he's got a good cushion on 4th place. Keep doing what you're doing, Fernando. You're doing a great job.
He's going to get in winner's circle before it's all said and done before the year. Real quickly, we were talking backstage before the show, and we did a little news about Kyle Larson possibly going to try the double-double next year. Well, you have definitely confirmed it is a locked deal that Kyle will try to attempt to run the 500 miles at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the 500, and then he will jump on a helicopter, a jet plane, and down to Charlotte to attempt 600. But, Mike, you definitely know this is a deal because you got a little inside note about Kyle getting fitted for a seat this past week.
Yes, I did on one of the IndyCar sites on Facebook. First of all, the deal was done. It was signed with Mr. Hendrick's blessing back around the holiday season. Kyle was in Indiana earlier this week. He was supposed to do a sprint car race in Kokomo. That got rained out, so he headed down US 31 to the McLaren shop there in Indianapolis. Made sure the IndyCar fit. He got his seat fitting. He was there, and it was strange seeing him in a Hendrick car's NASCAR uniform, squeezing into a papaya orange Laura for Team McLaren. But it's all Chevy powered. Everybody's on board with it. What little time he does have this year where there's no IndyCar and NASCAR Cup commitments conflicting, he plans on spending as much time as possible getting to know his Team McLaren personnel, hang out at some race weekends, learning the lingo, getting used to everybody. It's all about chemistry, and I think they're doing it the right way, that a year and a half in advance, let's sign it. That gives us time to gel. Right. It gives us time to gel instead of just putting together something last minute. They're doing it the right way, and I wish them the best. But before then, we got to finish this year's Cup season, run this year's 500. It's going to be exciting to watch. It's going to be very exciting.
It certainly will. Any other quick things? Mike, you got about a minute left here in this segment before we cut it loose. Excuse me. I've reached about everybody having a fresh water, and I guess I should have taken my own advance. Anyhow, I've got about a minute left in this segment. Mike, any final words before we let you go today?
Well, I spoke of the model of consistency. This is true also on the IndyCar side. Marcus Ericsson, he's keeping his nose clean. He's got the season opening win. He's leading the points. It's a great mix in the top 8 of Chevy and Honda, both in the race this past weekend and in the point standings. And with the top 5 only 15 points apart heading into the month of May, and no double points for the 500 this year, it pays the same as everything. So everybody's going to be lopped together. One small hiccup, though, you could find yourself in the back.
Yep, real quick like. Indy Mike, he is the guy that we're working on getting him over to Indianapolis coming up for the 500. What year is it, Mike? This will be, your 37th year at the 500?
Higher, 44th in a row.
44th in a row, man.
44.
44. He's
I was going since I was this tall, 9 years old. Now you see I got snow on the side of the roof, and it's the one time of the year I can truly be a kid again.
There you go. Indy Mike, thanks so much. We'll talk to you next week. We'll get the F1 report and get any updates that we got on IndyCar racing. Okay, my friend?
Absolutely, Alan. You and Diane have a great weekend out there, and enjoy your warm weather. The warm weather that we should be having.
We are. We'll think about you while it's so warm.
Yeah,
be
no
worried.
more ice pellets. No more ice pellets,
Yeah,
please.
no more ice pellets.
Keep them jets flying. Indy Mike with us from Columbus,
Got it.
Ohio. We're going to take a quick break, everybody. Come back, Diane, and I've got racing news from NHRA. We've got a little World of Outlaws, and we'll cover NASCAR. Still to come up in this program today, the 1990 Daytona 500 champion Derrike Cope will join us via satellite along with his lovely wife. We're going to talk racing, NASCAR, rally car, podcast, books, and it all with Derrike Cope. All coming up on Pit Road Racing, live from downtown Las Vegas. Back right after this, everybody.
The bright lights, the glitz, the glamour. It all means nothing without a shot. A chance to turn dreams into reality. To change your destiny. To make history. Nothing is given. Everything earned. It's more than a race. It's a shot at a championship.
Let's go get a championship, baby!
The NASCAR playoffs return to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the South Point 400. October 13th through 15th.
Are you ready for the wildest ride on Fremont Street? The Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience. 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171 on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. Open 7 days a week, noon until midnight. Strap yourself in, pull your safety belts tight, and feel the power and the speed at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience, downtown Las Vegas, Fremont Street, 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171, right on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. What are you waiting for? Log on, get your tickets now. It's time to go racing at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience, 450 Fremont Street, downtown Las Vegas.
Yes, indeed. Coming back at you right here, man. We're looking at just about 16 minutes after the hour right here on Pit Road Racing, live from the WCOBM in downtown Las Vegas, the flagship of this network right here. Diane Fox is joining me. She is back at court base right now, taking care of arrangements and everything else that's going on. Before we get to it, real quickly, man, let's do a little dirt racing. World of Outlaws, you know, man. After an early season stretch of dominance, man, I'll tell you, this guy really had it day. David Gorels, man, snapped that streak, and he picked up a big-time win this past weekend as the World of Outlaws were running for you. Great racing on the dirt. And, of course, I want to mention this weekend, man, they are off to Eldora, one of the most famous dirt tracks. That's Tony Stewart's racetrack right there. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a great event. So the World of Outlaws, if you love dirt racing, make sure if you're going to be around in the Columbus area where Mike was at, anything like that, not too far away. If you're over in Indiana, make a trip on over and see some dirt racing at Eldora, man, because I'm just telling you, this thing is really up. I mean, the championship standings right now, it's Carson McAdoo, Brad Street, and David Cavell. Man, they're all carrying it, man. This is some tight racing going on, so we definitely are looking forward to that. That's for sure. Yeah, I just loved her. Man, Diane, remember when we were out at the World of Outlaws when they were here about 4 years ago, man, slinging that dirt? Remember that?
Oh, yeah, I do.
It was a good time. It really was. Hey, NHRA. Yep, so let me get to some NHRA, and then we'll get to some NASCAR here for you. NHRA heads back to one of the original starts where the four wide. It was back in Charlotte this past weekend. That's right. And it was the second time in a final round of the four wide of the 2023 NASCAR Camping World season. And it was John Force Racing who tore up, and I mean just tore up, the Circle K track at ZMAX Raceway right there. Force's cars were looking really good for him all weekend long. John made the final four in funny car, but came up a little bit short. But his teammate and partner, Robert Height, right there, captured the win. It was Austin Prock, Top Fuel. That's another John Force Racing product right there. He edged out Leah Pruitt, Josh Hart, and Steve Torrance, who has always been on a tear in the Top Fuel right there. So he picks up a win at the four wide in Charlotte. Funny car, it was Robert Height, Alexis DeJoria, Ron Capps, and, of course, John Force made the top four, but like I said, fell a little short. 70-some years old, and John Force is still rocking in the car. It's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Pro Stock Derek Kramer outlasted Dallas Glenn, who's been on a rock and roll. I mean, that car's been on a rail going down that quarter-mile strip, or I should say a 1,000-foot strip, and Dallas had the last two wins. Matt Hartford and Fernando Garada Jr. is your top four in Pro Stock. Gage Herrera, Matt Smith, Eddie Kurlick, and Steve Johnson, man. They were your guys in Pro Stock Motorcycle. It was good to see the motorcycles back out on the track. They've been off for a couple of weeks, so they're back. Looking good right there. As far as standings go, Here it is, top fuel. Steve Torrance leads Justin Edley by 35 points. Matt Hagan over Alexis DeJoria by 58. Dallas Glenn has still got a good, comfortable lead of 81 points over the Hartford boy. And Gage Herrera under 2 points up on Matt Smith. I mean, that is something to see. The Smith, both Matt and Angie have been terrors on those motorcycles, man. And it's good to see the Herrera guy up. Next up for the NHRA, like Diane said, Elwood, Illinois. May 19th through the 21st, and you can pick tickets up at the NHRA.com. So there you go, man. Erica Enders is still, Diane, is having a tough time in that Pro Stock car this year.
She is. Yeah, she really is.
Let's see where we want to go to. You want to go to NASCAR next? Should we go to there?
Sure.
All right, let's do it. NASCAR, this report brought to you by our good friends at the LVMS. The Trucks and the Cup doubleheader this coming up this weekend. The Heartland, that's right, in the Heartland area, that's Kansas. And click the heels and off we go. But the series was back out in action, man. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be looking good because right now it's Ty Majeski, Zane Smith, and Ben Rhodes heading into Kansas with the points lead. They're up this weekend. And, of course, after that, they're going to return May 12th to Darlington for the Buckle Up South Carolina 200. Xfinity racing from last week, everybody. Well, it was the younger brother of Ryan Truex who held off Josh Berry and Justin Allgaier. The 31-year-old brother of Martin Truex Jr. picked up his first win, and he dominated. I mean dominated. 124 of 200 laps that day and picking up the big win. Josh Berry, second place. Justin Allgaier, Austin Hill, John Hunter, Nemechek round out your top five. Right now, the points are looking just like this. Austin Hill, John Hunter, Nemechek, and Chandler Smith. Up next for them. You got it, man. They got this weekend and then off to Darlington, the track that's too tough to take. Well, after 54 winless, that's right, winless in 54 starts, the drought has ended for big brother Martin Truex Jr. and the JGR Toyota tackles the monster. Truex led 68 of the 400 laps at Dover. Truex picks up his 32nd Cup win and has locked himself in for a title run of the 2023. Truex Jr., Ross Chastain, Ryan Blaney, your top three. Currently, right now, it's Chastain, Christopher Bell, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., and Ryan Blaney that are the top up on there. In so far, William Byron, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Tyler Reddick, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Martin Truex Jr. joins the list, so they'll be going up racing in Darlington. There you go, all right? I see he's standing by in the green room, and we'll get to him in just a second. And our good friend Derek Cook. Diane, you got a couple of things that you wanted to talk about NASCAR-wise?
No, I decided to just do all my use all my energy and stuff on my interview with Elyshia. So I mean, right. I've read a couple of things that NASCAR and stuff about Jimmy Johnson going to Toyota, and I know you weren't too happy about that, or So
I just don't understand how. I get it. It's about the money. It's about this. But somebody that had 7 championships, that drove and had a Chevrolet all the time that he had it, and now he's flipping over to. I'm just not happy with this whole situation. I don't like the way Petty has been sort of pushed off to the side. I'm just not happy with it. Anyhow, real quickly, NASCAR officials back at Joe Gibbs. They fined the crew chief $5,000. No suspension, but he's going to pay some money on that. And let's see the trucks, man, they're out. I don't know. I don't want to get worked up over this whole thing. I just think.
No.
I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. Hey, did you hear this, Diane?
You really know what we need? We need a punching bag so we can just vent our frustrations out on that instead of, venting.
Hey, did you see who made the list today on the top 25 of the 75 years of NASCAR? 25 more drivers got in. Brad Kay got in today, man.
I saw that.
I like Brad Kay. I like it.
That.
Anything else that you want to cover here? Anything else that you want to cover today?
No, I'm just really excited about this next interview. I mean,
all right.
We've known this, this couple for
quite a while,
quite a few years now, and
you're just all tongue-tied.
They're my heroes. As a power couple. I mean, they, and I could sit and listen to their podcast, and I have, quite a few podcasts. I do. How some people binge watch TV. Now I'm binge watching their, listening to their podcast. So
okay,
I'm really excited about this interview.
Okay, let's take a quick break. We got a bill we got to pay from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And when we come back, the 1990 Daytona 500 champion Derrike Cope will join us via satellite right after this, everybody.
The bright lights, the glitz, the glamour. It all means nothing without a a shot. A chance to turn dreams into reality. To change your destiny. To make history. Nothing's given. Everything earned. It's more than a race. It's a shot at a championship.
Let's go get a championship,
The
baby!
NASCAR playoffs return to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the South Point 400, October 13th through 15th.
On off.
There it is, man. It was an amazing finish, and I got a chance to actually see that thing, and it was something else. Joining us via satellite, I believe, from North Carolina, he is the 1990 Daytona 500 champion, Mr. Derrike Cope. Welcome back to On Pit Road Racing, sir.
Well, thanks so much. It's great to see you guys.
It is. There's Diane. Derrike, we got the setup now that we can beam you in from all over the world, man. I mean,
Nice. You guys flat got it going on. That's all I can tell you. This is like top notch right here.
I don't know if it's all about that, buddy. But the first thing that I do want to say, and I talked to Gene earlier, and we know that we're going to get into your podcast, but this is some food for thought for you, my friend. We would love to have you on this network with a show. We would love to have you.
Don't tease me.
No, I'm not teasing you one bit at all. This is not teasing at all. And this is great. Now, I've interviewed you 3 times, and I've always missed this. And now I want to start it off with this. Down the back stretch you go. You're, about 400 yards from turn 4, and all of a sudden, Earnhardt misses. Was it a tire? And did you see the tire blow?
Actually, things were happening so fast. I had such a run, and starting to gain on and going off into 3. And I pretty much committed to the bottom. And when he was there, he started backing up to me. And I really didn't see, I saw some pieces coming off the car and something was hitting my car. But I saw him just turn sideways and he masterfully caught the thing. And when he moved up, I went right by. And then I looked at my mirror. And at that point there, I knew that if I stayed wide open, that it was all over.
It was. I was going to say, once you got by him and you were down on that bottom groove, you put the pedal to the metal. You knew you had it. I mean, man, I'm going to win the Daytona 500. Is that what you were feeling in the car?
When I got off turn 4 and I was flat on the mat, I did. Yeah.
Derrike has been with us for a great long time. A couple of things. I met Derrike several years ago. In fact, I was trying to get the timeline, and I think it was back right around 93 or 94. Am I correct? You were with Bobby Allison at that time, driving the number 12 machine?
94, 95 is when I was with Bobby.
That was correct. And I was working a little station up in St. Augustine, Florida, WSOS, and the local Ford dealership decided he wanted to give a car away. And so we did this. Well, the gentleman that actually helped me give the car away is on the show right now. And that, in fact, I tried to find the lady that I doubt if you remember, Derrike, but you brought that car out and she was just jumping for joy. I think it was 9 keys to unlock the trailer. Yeah. And then after that, we met Derrike and got together. I said, Diane, we went to the races. I said, you want to meet Derrike Cope? And I said, yeah. And then Derrike did something for me. It was one of the most greatest things that I could ever do. He made me an honorary team member for a day, and I got to help push his car to the starting line. And Derrike, I'm going to tell you something. When we turned the corner coming down pit road, and the noise of the crowd, it sent chills up my spine, and I always wanted to thank you for that.
Oh, that was our pleasure. Those were some great times. We had the fans were out in droves. I mean, we were averaging, right at almost 200,000 people per event, and it was a sight to behold. I know, and it was special for us as well.
Well, since you got out of the Cup racing, what's been going on with Derrike Cope?
Well, taking a little more time for ourselves, and Elyshia and I, we started the podcast, Race Theory, And, that's been an enjoyable thing for us, and really just kind of getting our feet wet there. And then I've been working with my cousin doing some Trans Am TA2 racing with them, coaching and crew chiefing and doing some mentoring. We're kind of involved right now with the new Toyota GR86 program. They're all spec series as well as the Trans Am TA2. And dealing with Tony Breidinger is with Hot Wheels, and I'm her crew chief on the GR86. And then I'm working with actually a name from the past, Butch Mock from Ray Mock Racing.
Sure do.
Butch's son, Darren. I'm working with Ron Otto and Darren Mock and the TA2 program. So we're having a lot of fun hanging out with old times with Butch Mock and his wife, Wendy, and we get to talk old times. We used to be neighbors on the lake, and we've had a lot of enjoyment over the last year here.
You mentioned Tony earlier. Now, I saw something in a press release. Isn't she going to Kansas to make her first start in a truck race this weekend? I think Victoria's Secrets, the ladies' fashion, sponsoring the truck. You couldn't get a better fit for that. I mean, there you go. Am I right, Derrike? She's on her way to trucks too, right?
She is. This is her debut for Tricon in the Truck Series at Kansas, and so I'm really excited for her. We text back and forth here today a little bit. She's going to come on our podcast, Race Theory, right after this event here with our continuation of talking about women in racing. And so I'm excited for her. She's a great little talent. She's worked so hard at social media, got a great following, and she's very proficient outside the car, and very endearing to all the fans and stuff. So it's great to see her have some success and getting on up the ladder.
Derrike, Diane and I've actually got to watch her race. I believe Diane was a USAC midget, I think, that she ran at the bull ring out of here. I mean, those little things flew, and she handled the car just perfect. I think she had a top 5 finish the first time she was here. Then the second time, if I'm not mistaken, she got taken out. But, I mean, she is one heck of a racer, and it's good that she's got somebody like you behind her.
Yeah, she's done very well. I mean, the go-karting, she is tremendous. And then, she's done really well in the ARCA series and starting to come along there. And, so she's just, serving her apprenticeship and rightfully so, but she's doing all the right things. And that's being very productive outside the car, which is going to help her financially be able to, put herself in a position to get reps and more races under her belt and work her way. So, we're getting excited about watching how she does. And, Elyshia and I are kind of working on a new program with our Arrive and Drive program. We got a Radical coming, and we're going to be doing some of that as well. So, kind of a ride-along program and using Race Theory as a platform for it.
Yeah, that sounds.
Wow,
it sounds.
you guys are just really busy bees, aren't you?
Well, yeah, you know what? We're so fortunate. We love what we do, and we love motorsports, always have, and collectively we seem to, really complement each other. And she can handle the things that I don't, and we just want to stay and do what we enjoy to do. And when you wake up in the morning and love to go to work, I mean, that's a true gift.
Yeah, and I totally love following you guys, watching all the stuff that you're doing.
Thank you.
It's amazing. I
love
it.
You get to talk racing, and obviously we have a little banner going back and forth. We always don't agree, and so we obviously have our little bannering going back and forth. But it's great to watch her, and we just love that aspect of it.
It is something else. It really was. And Alicia's going to be coming on the program here in just a few minutes and talking with Diane about it. But, Derrike, I mean, being with you and watching you through, the events that you did here in Las Vegas at the Motor Speedway and watching your career coming up. I mean, you hooked up with somebody here that's not only into racing, but, I mean, she's got your back. And we've watched her. I told Diane, I said, if somebody would put roller skates on Elyshia and put metal wheels, she'd shoot fire off of these things. I mean, that's how she moved. I've never seen somebody that was so dedicated to a team that made sure, and Diane's going to go through this, folks, travel, hotels, airfare, getting teams there, catering. And Diane's going to talk to Elyshia all about that coming up. So the podcast, what made you decide that you wanted to get a podcast together, Derrike?
Well, it was actually Alicia's idea. And, she's always talked about, we've always talked about all of, my past in racing, the stories, what our heritage has been about, and so many funny things that have happened. And she really just wanted to be able to, chronicle all of those stories and things and use it as a way to to make sure that none of it's forgotten. And, I've always been kind of private, in most regards. And, we're just trying to air it out a little bit now and let people know more about, the good, the bad, and the ugly. A lot of the struggles and things went on. It always wasn't great. And you had to always respond. You had to change gears. And that's part of my ebook and some of the things that we're doing and showcasing on the race theory, and just trying to, maybe shed light on, some of the young kids coming up, the pitfalls and maybe some avenues that they can look at and draw from, and hopefully find some synergies that will help aid them in their quest to, to get to the highest level in motorsports that they can.
When you started in this business, this was a lot different than where it is now today. And I'm not here to knock anybody. I'm not like that. Do you think NASCAR is heading in a right direction?
Well, it's a path that it's hard to turn once you get it aimed down a path. And I think that, the most difficult aspect, I think, right now is that there's just nowhere to go for a lot of the young talent.
Right.
If you really look at it, there's only so many slots and they're all filled for a period of time. And if you look at all these other guys that are, that could possibly die on the vine, that are very talented, they need opportunities. And I just don't see where they're going to go at this point. So I think what you're seeing with like Toyota wanting to have another team and some other things, they're just trying to open up opportunities that they can take some of their development drivers and put in a position to showcase their potential, which, I think is a good thing. And there's a lot of great talent out there, and you need people coming up through the system. And I think you got to have a pipeline of race car drivers and wannabe race car drivers, male and female. And I think if they continue to do that, then find avenues for them, maybe it'll all work out. But, the next gen car has a great deal of problems, in my opinion. It's hurting a lot of these kids and ending careers, and hopefully they can rectify that. But they got to put a very direct approach and find the mistakes, and hopefully they can to make it happen.
Did you ever get a chance to drive it, a test or anything in the new car?
I have not. We built one at the shop. We took it to Charlotte there, the test session with Kaz Gralla, and ran very proficiently. So I really, I missed the aspect of getting a chance to really do it more because I love the cars and I love the new things that are coming in, and I always like to see progression, but I haven't never got a chance to drive one. So I missed out on that one.
NASCAR's taken it. It's, they started moving this around, Derrike, several years around to different markets and different things. Your opinion about North Wilkesboro coming back to life, the all-star race, and would that be something that you'd like to go see?
Well, I'll be quite honest with you. I never was a big fan of North Wilkesboro out of all the racetracks we went to. So, it's probably not my, my must see or must go to event, but I think I am a traditionalist and I like the aspect of it coming back simply from that aspect. I loved Rockingham. I hated to see it go. I love just, the places that we used to always go. And so from that standpoint, yes, I'm excited to see what they did with it. I've seen some pictures. I'm excited about seeing the race itself, and, I won't go, but I can see it so much better from TV.
Yeah, you get the TV version of it. Diane, you got a question for Derrike?
Well, I wanted to show Derrike when I first met you. It hasn't been that long ago. You gave me a hat and you signed it. You remember this?
I do, absolutely.
I've had a couple people try to get this hat for me. I've had to hide it. Yes, I've had to actually hide it. I'm not going to tell you where I hide it, but because then everybody would know. But yeah, I am so proud of this hat.
We had
a lot of great times together. There were a lot of functions and activities we did, and the interviews, and we always so look forward to coming out there and spending time with you too. And if all the things, we miss those things. People always say when they don't do it anymore, you miss the people, you miss the camaraderie and the family atmosphere, and you guys were a part of that, and we miss you guys dearly.
Derrike, real quickly, she wore that hat to the bowling.
I remember the night that your crew and you and Elyshia came and all had dinner with us. I'll tell you what, that was probably that night will always be a very sweet memory for me. We didn't talk racing really. We didn't take no pictures. It was just a bunch of friends, new friends, and thank you guys so much for being a part of that memory for me.
Well, you're very welcome. It was one for us too. And, we've always enjoyed you guys. We've always really looked forward to any time that we could spend together, and so appreciative of, the relationship that we have and continue to have. And so we've always wished you well and love what you guys do as well. I mean, it's definitely a great platform for you guys out there. You do such a great job. So I know that a lot of people are so pleased to have you guys doing what you do.
Yeah, it's been a while since we the COVID and everything else we shut down, and then Gene decided to move the WCOBM. And Derrike, we are in the heart of downtown Las Vegas now. I mean, we are in the heart of it. I mean, I'm probably less than 1,000 feet away from Fremont Street. That's how close we are now.
Yeah. That's a fantastic area. I love that area down there.
And real quickly about the hat, I want to get to this, why she put it up. We were at the Bull Ring one night. Somebody saw that because it's had your 25th anniversary on that, and they tried to take it. This woman right here was ready to grab a trash can, a bench, or she was ready to knock the HE double toothpicks out of something. You're not taking my Derrike Cope hat, no. And it was funny. So since then, I walked in the closet this morning, and I pulled it out, and I said, "You remember this?" She said, "Yeah." And I go, You got to show that to DC. You got to show it.
It could be a butt whooping somebody had to take there. Try to take that from there.
No, I don't have too many hats because I don't wear too many hats. But what happened?
We're there.
We're there.
Oh, okay. Now I see him.
Well, we're there.
Like I said, I don't have too many hats. I don't have, because I don't wear a lot of hats and stuff. Yeah. But I do wear that hat. Well, I don't anymore. It's like I said, it's put up with my Emmett Smith stuff, but don't take my stuff. Don't take
my Derrike Cope hat. That's for sure.
I'll run right there with Emmett Smith. Gotta love that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I got a really nice jersey.
She'll tell you that. She'll tell you that. How about the ebook, Derrike? How about the ebook?
I'm enjoying that. Yeah. Again, for me, it really is just about I think a lot of it stems from my upbringing with my father, and work. It was about work ethic, and really back then, here I was. I mean, I didn't have any money. I was 3,000 miles away from where I wanted to be, and I think it's just all about perseverance. And I wanted to share my path, my struggles, and the things that I felt like were instrumental in putting me in a position to really make someone believe in me and give me opportunities. And I see so much of the opportunities that, are lost for kids out there today that, don't get an opportunity. They're talented, but not the right place, not the right time, or somebody doesn't believe in them. So I felt like compelled to try to just maybe give some sense of what I feel like is important and things that you might want to think about, emulate, or take from it. And, maybe try to put it in your own life, and maybe it'll help you at some point. And so that's what I started with, and just trying to give some guidance if people want to listen.
Your lovely wife is joining behind, and we'll get to her in just a minute. But Derrike, that this show has always been based under a grassroots type of thing coming up. And, we sort of lost perspective because everybody said, you need to go national. You need to go national. You need to go national. Well, we did. And there's too many nationals out there. You know what I mean? I can't compete with NBC. I'm not going to compete with Fox. I'm not going to do that. I'm not even going to try. So we brought this thing back. So if you wouldn't mind a couple of minutes here, advice for young racers that are coming up through the ranks, maybe through the go-kart era, through the Bandoleros, super legend cars, just some advice that you might give to the listeners out there, things that they need to do, things that they need to get involved in.
Well, I've always believed that, you can't get outworked. And I've always believed, and I think that's in every form, whether it's sports, in business or whatever, but really just having work ethic and really trying to stay true to yourself and the craft. And, I think in this day and age, I think it was for me in the beginning as well, I think you have to be so well-rounded. You got to be talented, and versatile, right? So I think you got to be talented in the car and out of the car. So you have to find a way to create an image for yourself. I think you have to find a way to stand out. And that means the way you look, the way you dress, the way you speak. Take every aspect of it and try to become the best that you can be in those things. And I think try to be able to convey a good message to people that, they'll try and believe in you. And those are the things that I just would instill in young people today. And, put yourself out there. I mean, you have to make it happen. So it's going to rely on what you do.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I had a couple of the local guys on, Kyle Keller, who's moving up through the ARCA ranks. I don't know if you caught him. Scotty Gaffarini, who's a 7-time track champion out here. And you know what he was telling me? He said these kids nowadays, Derrike, aren't learning also not only what you just talked about, and I think Elyshia will join in with this event, but getting in the garage and working on the car, getting a knuckle buster out there, learning how to change your spark plugs, learning about tire balance and things that need to be done, learning about shock combinations. Would you think these kids nowadays, they need to get in the garage, don't they?
Well, they all want to be drivers. And I think a lot of times, I think what I just spoke about is the profiling. You want to be, out there in your uniform, and, you want to look the part, which is important. But, when you leave the racetrack, you really need to understand the race car and you need to understand what makes it tick. And I think, being able to understand shock absorbers and the spring combinations, what the car is doing, and draw a correlation between what you feel and what decisions they're making for you. I think once you can do that, you'll start to really process all that information, and will make you a better race car driver. So I think, like you said, the grassroots side of it is ultimately very important as well. But it takes everything to get to the top at this stage, and where racing is at. You better have it all. And I think you just have to understand that and be totally committed. And you're going to have to realize that you can't have it all. You're going to have to give up something.
There you go. One final question, then I'll let you get all your social media. Anything else? Tony Stewart's got this new, SRX developmental league or racing league in there, bringing back, drivers from all over around. If you would get a call, would that be something interesting, for one nighter or one weekender? Would you like to get out there and tangle with your old buddies?
Sure. Anytime, there would be an opportunity to drive something, I have that interest. I do watch the races. It really just, I really haven't put a lot of emphasis on it, because the cars are, I know what the race cars are and it's not something that excites me, right? To be quite honest with you. And I'd rather be driving, an IMSA car or, a GTP or something along the LMP3 cars. I enjoy something a little more on the exotic side. So, but you know what? It's interesting to watch. You got to have something to watch on TV that's racing related, and they do a good job with it.
Yeah, I think it's something interesting. I really do. Let me see. Is there anything else, Diane? Did you have a final question? And we'll take a quick break, and then we'll bring his lovely wife into it, and she's going to talk about what it's like to put a race team together. And I mean, besides the driver there that's got the responsibility of the car, this woman right here, if you could ask somebody to wing the magic wand, this is the woman that can do it, and she did, and we watched her do it. So, Diane, Derrike, any final comments before I let you go and we join your lovely wife?
Well, you're very fortunate to have her. She is very well versed, and she compliments me well. And when it comes to doing everything that comes involved with a racing program, she is it. She's done it all. She's very proficient at it, and very well spoken as well. And I love her to death.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1990 Daytona 500 champion making his 4th appearance on this program of On Pit Road Racing. Derrike, before I let you go, real quickly, if you wouldn't mind, where they can find your podcast, the ebook, and social media if they want to get a hold of you.
Yes, it's you can get it on DerrikeCope.club or RaceTheory.club. And that'll take you right to the website. And there's everything on there about mentoring and coaching and public speaking. We'll be soon putting our basically a radical program that'll be coming at racetracks near you, where you can come along and do a ride-along program with us. So a lot of exciting things, merchandise, you name it. And all of our podcasts are on there as well. So it's kind of a one-stop shop.
Oh, wait a second. He said something about ride-alongs here. Wait a minute. I'm getting too old to drive it myself, Derrike, but I'll take a ride with you.
We're going to get you for a ride, all right. Yeah.
I'll take a ride. Yeah, that's good.
I'll tell you what. Derrike, we were down in – have you ever seen Speedway motorcycle racing, Derrike?
I have seen it, yes.
Well, the gentleman that owns this network right here is a 3-time national champion in Speedway motorcycle racing, Mr. Gene Woods. And we went to Costa Mesa, and it's a little bit different, Derrike. There's no fendering, but they do what they call their pinching. And I mean, when they pinch somebody, it ain't no joke, man. We're talking, used to be alcohol nitromethane. Well, back in 77, no more nitro, so it's alcohol methanol now. The smell is unbelievable. The action is something else. Quarter-mile racetrack with bikes that weigh 175 pounds running 65, 70 miles an hour around a dirt racetrack. It's unbelievable, buddy.
I know, it's impressive. It really is. But it's not for me, I can tell you that. But it certainly is impressive to watch. Got to have a whole new respect for those guys.
They certainly do. Diane, we were down there, and you know, this program is also tied with a nonprofit, and we'll talk to you about that. In fact, I wanted to hold them up and show you to you. This is what we did, Derrike. We bought almost 10,000 pairs of tennis shoes. The Gene did. If you can see them right there, good quality shoes, got the Hot Shoe logo on it and everything. What we've been doing is we've been going around to local missions churches. We've now teamed up with Project 150 here in Las Vegas with the teens and also with vets. So what we've been doing is we've been just going to racetracks in different places and just giving shoes away.
Fantastic.
Just
that is fantastic.
Isn't that something else? So we'll deal more of that. Hey, listen, I want to thank you so much for taking time, and your wife is standing behind. I know Diane is just chomping at the bit to talk to her, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk to her. How about that, okay?
All right, sounds good. Great seeing you, talking to you guys.
You've got a Derrike Cope, the 1990 Daytona 500 champion. His wife will join us next, and boy, has she got a lot to say. You're watching On Pit Road Racing live from downtown Las Vegas, WCOBM. Alan Michaels, Diane Fox, right back after this quick break, everybody.
The bright lights, the glitz, the glamour. It all means nothing without a shot. A chance to turn dreams into reality. To change your destiny. To make history. Nothing is given. Everything earned. It's more than a race. It's a shot at a championship.
Let's go get a championship, baby!
The NASCAR playoffs return to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the South Point 400. October 13th through 15th.
Welcome to my world. Handicapped man down at a charity feed. Great spread this morning. God, it was horrible. But it made what I needed to happen. Then I had these people that stopped and said, "Hey, you want some shoes?" I said, "Yeah, I was going to need to get some anyway. So might as well." And if it really comes to fruition, help them buy more shoes so that we can help more people. I'm not but you know what I mean. Hell, might as well. There's nothing wrong with helping someone. You know, it makes for good karma or good energy, whatever it takes. Hell, I ought to do a product placement for Coca-Cola too.
Are you ready for the wildest ride on Fremont Street? The Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience. 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171 on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. Open 7 days a week, noon until midnight. Strap yourself in, pull your safety belts tight, and feel the power and the speed at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience. Downtown Las Vegas, Fremont Street, 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171, right on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. What are you waiting for? Log on, get your tickets now. It's time to go racing at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience, 450 Fremont Street, downtown Las Vegas.
Downtown Las Vegas, that's it. There you go, man. And when the coats get out of here, Diane, we're gonna take them racing here at the go-kart track, man. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. There he goes. Well, Diane, this is your part of the show, and she's in frame, and she's ready to go. So I'm going to turn this over. I've already got it. There she is, marketing and sports professional. Let's go find on the screen. She's there. Diane, take it away. This is your part of the program, my girl.
Hi, Elyshia.
Hey, Diane, how are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad to see you and Derrike. Gosh, I mean, that was a great interview with Derrike. I could probably listen to him talk probably hours. And with the podcast you guys do, I just totally love it. Totally love it.
I'm so glad you enjoy it.
I do. And I follow you too. I'm not a stalker or anything. I just really enjoy your energy. You've got a lot of energy going on. First off, for a lot of people that don't know you, can you just give us a little, like a little bio of who you are, your family, and all that stuff, what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in the Pacific Northwest in northern Idaho, actually, and I lived in the woods and backcountry, and always loved adrenaline type sports like whitewater rafting and hang gliding and
Wow.
cliff jumping and all that kind of stuff. So, but I never knew anything about motorsports because in northern Idaho there aren't any racetracks there. So didn't know anything about NASCAR either. So when I actually my career was actually in child development, and I ran a dance and gymnastics studio for 19 years. But then when my first marriage failed, I was a marketing director for a nutritional company. And that nutritional company wanted to go NASCAR racing. And at first I was like, are you out of your mind? What nutritional company is going to go into NASCAR? I thought they were a bunch of redneck beer drinking, not interested in anything but, fried chicken. And so, but boy, was I wrong. So I actually had been nutritional repping for quite some time. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot. So I went over there and I actually met Derrike. He was the driver of the Maxcellence car. And I went to 12 races that year, and I was hooked. I could not believe that I had led my life thus far and did not know about NASCAR or motorsports. And so after that, I was very vested in trying to make sure that we stayed in NASCAR. That was not to be, the company did not have enough money to sustain that budget. But then the next year, when Derrike and I got together, I actually moved over to North Carolina with our youngest daughter, and we started our own Xfinity team along with the driver development team. So we started doing both while Derrike had money to go partially throughout the year based on what sponsorship I could come up with. And then in 2013, we got a full ride, 14, 15, 16. And that's when we met y'all, is I think in 14. 13,
Yes.
Yeah. And then had an opportunity to run a cup team after we left Jay Robinson at Premium. And I was able to manage with Derrike that team for 5 years, and very successfully. It definitely was a very from nuts to bolts effort. We did not have anything to start with, and we started it from ground zero. We had a lot of trial and error, but because of Derrike's expertise on the driving and the mechanical side, and then I had expertise in the marketing and sponsorship side, we were able to make it work. And we miss it. It was sold. Our charter was sold to Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan. NASCAR pretty much forced that. And after that, then we've been doing what we're doing. I love health coaching, which is what I do full time now. And Derrike and I run together the podcast, and then I help him edit the ebook. And then he also does the Nitro Motorsports on the side, which I do go with him to those races and just as support and to kind of help support his social media and all of that.
And you have 3 beautiful daughters, and what a role model they have,
Well, thank you.
They, I like I said, I watch and follow you mostly through Facebook. I did want to ask you a question. Did you take a road trip by yourself?
I did. Yes, that was really fun, and I was so amazed at how many people followed that. That was.
I enjoyed it. I couldn't tell at first if you were by yourself.
Yes.
So how was that? I mean, by yourself road tripping.
It was awesome. It was actually more scary than I thought it would be. I thought it would be easy peasy because it was in the summertime. Not like I was going to encounter any weather. So I went over to Washington State to pick up a car at auction, is how it happened. So I picked up this car at auction, and then I was driving it back over, and I thought, what better time for me to take a cross-country trip? And I asked my daughters if they could go with me, and they couldn't. I asked a couple of friends, and they couldn't go. So I was like, hey, I guess I'm solo. So I have always wanted to stop at all of the Lewis and Clark expedition markers across the United States because I just fascinated with that history. And when I'm with Derrike, he never wants to stop anywhere. He just wants to zoom right through. So this was my opportunity to be able to do that. And it was fascinating. I stopped all through Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, the Dakotas, any place that I thought was interesting, I'd stop. And went pretty much through the northern part of the United States. But my goal was to hit all 50 states by the time I was 50 years old. And I had not made it to North and South Dakota. Of course, there's no racing there, and you really, what do you go to the Dakotas for unless there's a destination reason? And so I hadn't hit those states, even though my niece lives in North Dakota. I hadn't been there yet, so I got to hit both of those, of course. And then the only thing I had left to hit was Maine. So I did that for my birthday. Derrike took me there for my birthday, and I was able to hit all 50 by 50.
Wow. That's amazing. Oh my gosh. And that sounds like so much fun. So much fun.
The only caveat I would give to a woman traveling on her own, if she wants to solo the United States by herself, is in eastern Montana and South Dakota, there's such really desolate areas, and you have to use a map because your GPS does not guide you. And if you're out sightseeing like I was, so I was not on the major roads. I was going to all of these like Indian artifact campgrounds and things. And I got caught when it was at night in eastern Montana, and I was literally on a dirt road. And so I just drove until I was almost out of gas, and I found this little town, and I just asked, hey, is there a place I can stay here? And they said, sure, there's a person that rents out their rooms. So I literally stayed in a person's house that night. And I mean, there was a little jar on the counter that said, hey, drop in what you can do. And Derrike was so mad at me when I called, and I said, well, guess where I'm spending the night? And he said, what? He says, make sure you bar the door, because there was no lock on the door or anything. But, it was an adventure. That was what I was on. I was on an adventure.
Wow. That was an adventure. That is so cool.
That is. Diane, can I cut in for a second? Elyshia, we were talking to, you have the girls and everything else, and we have watched what you do. And ladies and gentlemen, this woman handled it all. How did you raise the girls so successfully? And listen, we've been on the road, so we know what it's like to be airport, hotel, racetrack. How did you do it all?
Well, I was lucky. We were able to actually hire a full-time nanny that was a family friend that took care of Zoe. When Derrike and I were on the road 37 weekends a year with the Xfinity Series, Zoe had someone that actually stayed the night with her because she was so little at that time. I just could not, even though she was like in, 4th, 5th, 6th grades.
Right.
I just didn't feel comfortable with her being in someone else's home. I wanted someone to come to ours. And so I was very fortunate that we were able to do that. And she was able to be safe and secure in her own home, feel comfortable. And then we were usually home on Monday, and I was there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'd go out Thursday. So someone was always with her on the weekends. And then of course she did visit her dad on holiday trips. The older two were old enough. They were already in high school and college.
Right. So it's just something else.
I know. I'm walking around a little bit. Hang on.
Okay. While you're fixing that, Elyshia, advice for young people. Okay. Advice for young people coming up through this. We talked to Derrike about, what it takes, the grassroots racing. Now, I want you, if you wouldn't mind, speak to people, moms, dads out there about potentially looking for sponsors, how these guys and the boys and girls should be groomed about professional race attitude. And I know you took a care of a lot of this stuff for Derrike and everything else. If you get a minute, could you explain and just give some advice to the local people and the grassroots racers out there?
Yeah, we had the opportunity to do driver development when Derrike and I first got together, and now we're doing driver development again. And so it comes full circle. And one thing that I have seen, and we talk about it on the podcast, is both boys and girls really need to stay focused. There's so many distractions today. There's so many things for these kids to do. There's so many paths that they can go down, and social media and everything that they do on that just takes them away from the focus. And of course, they do need to do a little bit of it if they have a sponsor and they need to plug the sponsor and they need to do some engagements for them. That's very important. But what I see, the ones that are the most successful are the ones that stay on one driven path, and they don't let anything else distract them. They don't let relationships or other activities. You really have to decide by the time you are a teenager what it is that you want to do. And the days of being able to play 3 or 4 different sports, really, if you're going to be a jack of all trades, you'll be a master of none. And the same thing goes with motorsports. And motorsports is so competitive now, especially with the pay to play. If you don't have the funds, if your mom and dad aren't independently wealthy, or you don't have a supporter that's going to pay for your way, you really have to be out there pounding the pavement, getting your own sponsors. And the only way you're going to get your sponsors to stay is if you're constantly in the car every single week, week in and week out, showing that this is my focus. I'm not doing anything else.
Diane, go ahead.
Well, I was going to flip the tables a little bit, because now I want to talk about your being a wellness coach.
Oh, yeah. Well, I love that. I'm passionate about that. I've had the opportunity to become certified as an independent health and wellness coach. And I just love watching people get healthy, especially if, they need to lose weight, they need better nutrition, they need to get off diabetes meds. I mean, this country is in a sad state of affairs. 40% of the country is either headed towards pre-diabetes or on diabetic meds already by the time they're 50 years old. And that's just sad. And there's no reason for that. So I think that it's really important for us to shed the light on the fact that obesity kills. It's not just what you look like. It shortens your life. And if you want to be there for your kids and your grandkids, you really need to make sure that your body is healthy, mind and body. And so I just love helping people do that.
Now, is there a specific, I don't know, I don't know how to say this. I was trying to get this in my mind. I mean, a lot of people drink protein drinks. A lot of people is mostly yours just sensible meal planning, eating the right combination of, right combination of food.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's all of those things. So there are a lot of protein shakes and bars and other things. I coach a variety of different plans. So what I do is I do a health assessment with people, decide which plan would be good for them. And then we definitely teach you how to prepare one meal a day that consists of vegetables and protein and healthy fats, and being able to portion control that, so that once you do get off of the plan, you are able to eat 3 meals a day and know what sizes are going to be adequate for your own body. And I actually go into transition and say, okay, you are 150 pounds, you're 5'9", you have maybe 30 minutes of activity a day. This is how many calories that you can sustain and not gain your weight back. And so that's been eye-opening for me as well, because I've always struggled to maintain as I get older.
Yeah. Now this question's mainly for me. I'm not a big vegetable eater, and I don't know why. And the reason is because I grew up on a farm. You would think, how do I get myself to start eating more vegetables?
Well, there's such a variety out there. What I would do is just research vegetables that you've never tried. There's some people, well, Derrike he's a case in point. He only eats, when I met him, he would only eat shredded iceberg lettuce, like the type that are in the bags for like taco bars,
right?
And canned green beans. That was it. Those were the only vegetables he would eat. And so I've actually introduced so many things that he never even thought were there, like the riced cauliflower and the cauliflower crust pizzas, and different types of squashes, like spaghetti squash that's actually cooked and served like spaghetti with spaghetti sauce on it.
Yeah.
I've done pizza casseroles that have vegetables in them that he doesn't know that are there. So it's kind of like with a kid, how you get to sneak the vegetables in. If you're an adult that doesn't like vegetables, I would just really encourage you to look. I've got a vegetable conversion chart that I'll email you, Diane, and it just lists like just hundreds literally of vegetables out there of all varieties. And you could go to the store. I mean, I didn't know anything about all these greens that the South has: turnip greens, collard greens, mustard greens, you name it. We got a green. And I didn't know you could actually cook them and make them taste good. Looking at them like, yeah, how could you just choke those down? But now I absolutely love collard greens. I mean, I adore them. I'd eat them every day if I could. Things like that, you just don't even know exist until you actually go out there and try them.
Wow. Have you got him? Wait a second. Collard greens. Wait a second. Collard greens. No, wait a minute. We got a little pinto beans in there, cornbread, and chopped onions too.
Yep, that sounds
good. Go ahead, Diane. Go ahead, Diane.
Okay, so yeah, I will accept the the vegetable chart that you can send me.
All right, we'll do it.
And I guess I can challenge myself, or whatever, to eat so many different vegetables. Yeah, I will try. But I mean, I can't believe that I grew up on farms and stuff like that, especially. But everybody else in my family loves that stuff, and I just won't eat it. But
here's the thing. She's a side eater. Okay, so if you like, she will not.
Eater.
Yeah, visual eater. So like, if it doesn't look good on the plate, she won't eat it at all. And I've tried. Listen, I've tried to sneak stuff into food, and she's, "What, did you put mushrooms into this? Did you?"
That sounds like Derrike. I'm always trying to sneak mushrooms in, and he always teases me because I tell him I try to serve eggplant. And he's like, "I hate eggplant," and I was like, "No, you like it." And he's like, "No, I don't know who your other lover was, but it's not me that likes eggplant."
Oh my goodness.
Now, does he eat eggplant now?
No, I still can't get him to eat eggplant. No,
I don't think I'll ever eat. Yeah, I'm that too. I just don't like the look of it. I don't know. I'm a very bad visual eater, and I try not to be. But my mom, if my mom was still here today, she would look at you and go, "Yeah, visual eater. That's what I had." So, okay, so I will look forward to getting that vegetable thing, and I'm going to challenge myself to try some new vegetables. Because I know,
let's do it. Let's do it. That's a goal.
There are so many out there that are so good for you, and I have high blood pressure. I have, And
girl, if you have high blood pressure, you need to get it in check now, because at our age, once you hit that high blood pressure mark, it's so hard to ever get it back down.
It is, and I mean, I did find one of the best doctors. He's awesome. I mean, he actually called me today because I was having a little trouble with some swelling in my feet, but it was caused by an injury. But he calls me, he texts me. He's very concerned, and he's trying everything he can. So once I get that chart, and I'll take it into him, and I'll look at him, and I'll go, "You know what? This is what I'm going to do." And he'll be so ecstatic, that I'm going to at least try. So because, okay. All right. So
I would love to coach you to your goals.
And I've seen some of your clients, the before, the then and the now. And let me tell you, all I can say is, wow.
Yep. It's pretty amazing.
Yes.
So what about the bed and breakfast? I hope you guys got a bed and breakfast. Did you guys open a
Yes, we are going to open a bed and breakfast at the end of the month. Yeah, it's so much fun. I have had so many people come and take a look at this old house and say, "Man, you guys should start a B&B." And that was always a dream of my mom's. And my mom passed away 2 years ago. And I am going to do this in honor of her. It's going to be called Glinda's Garden Inn. And I took Zoe's room because it is the biggest room in the house, and it is all decked out now. And I was just waiting on curtains, and those arrived today. So I'll be able to maybe have our first guests maybe after Memorial Day weekend.
That's awesome. I mean,
let me see. I got to get some.
Let me put it this way: what are you not doing? I mean, that's just But now, before I get you off here, where can I send our listeners to find out about your wellness coaching and the good things that they can do for themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have an Instagram. It's at Health Coach Cope. And then on my Facebook, which is just Elyshia Cope, spelled just like you see it, ELYSHIA COPE. And I have online information forms on both Instagram and Facebook in my bio that you can click, and it'll go straight to me.
Wow. So are you having a lot of fun with the podcast?
Yes, it's been amazing that I didn't know a lot of the things that pop up. Just when you think you've been with someone long enough to hear all of their stories, we'll be talking about something and he'll bring up a story and it'll just be amazing or hilarious or intriguing. And I'm like, I never heard this one before. So it's really brought a lot out of Derrike. I think we were so busy and so in the trenches for 10 years that now he's able to actually reflect, and writing the ebook has been a lot of fun too.
It certainly has. And I don't know if you heard this before, but when I brought Derrike on the show, I spoke to Gene, and the gentleman that owns this network, and he raced Speedway. He did some time in the NASCAR. It was back in the old days as the Winston West series. He teamed up with Ray Everham after Ray and Jeff left the Hendrick thing, and they actually brought Dodge back into NASCAR, and Gene was actually the first person to ever land the Monster Energy brand as a title sponsor. So anyhow, the point that I was going to get to was that we were trying to talk him into a car. We went Speedway race, and that's what his thing was. He's a 3-time national champion, and so we just had a ball down there. But what I was getting to here is this: is Sunday, October 8th of 2023. It is the Bank of America Roll Oval 400 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I think we're making some travel plans here. So could we possibly put a hold on the room for Saturday and Sunday? Checking out Monday. There you go.
You bet.
I
don't have a reservation for that weekend yet, so it's all yours.
Diane, make sure you're swapping emails and get us lined up.
Oh, yes.
We
I
actually
follow everything this woman does. So,
I know.
Yeah.
So we got 2 invites now. Claire and Mike Lang invited us to come stay at their place if we wanted to come. So now I think we'll go stay at the Copes. Alicia's cooking.
I've seen pictures of what they're doing, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So that's all I can say is it's beautiful.
And finally,
well, thank you. I've had a fun time decorating it.
That sounds good. Before this too, I want to let you know, I told Derrike and I spoke to Gene about this, and you all are welcome to join this network at any time that you would like to share podcasts. We'll get together off cameras and everything else. We'll get logistics worked out. But if you want to share this stuff, if you want to come here and do something live, you can do it just like you're doing it right now. Diane is actually back at our office. You're at your place, and I'm in the studio, and it's all hooked up through the satellite right here. So we can do multiple different things. We would love to work with you guys. I love you. I love the Derrike's podcast, and to be honest with you, Elyshia, you have taught me a lot as far as marketing and how to look at sponsorships, things that I went to college for that they didn't teach us there. And after watching you work at it and do things, you've taught me a lot through the years, and I want to thank you for that.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Wow.
Anything, Diane? You got anything for her that you want to say?
I could sit here. Yeah, no, I could sit here and talk all day to these guys. But I'm out of questions. I wrote like 2 pages of stuff to talk about. So,
well, I'm glad we got to cover it all.
Yeah.
Somebody that said on the sidelines, I asked Derrike this earlier. Do you think NASCAR is heading in the right direction? Your opinion?
Yeah, that's a good.
You know what? I'm a little bit more direct than Derrike, and I will say no.
You don't think so?
I do not think so. I think that they've lost their way, and it's there's a lot of things that is not in their control, like the pay to play, but there's other things that is. And I think they were trying to build some more competition with the next gen car, but really all they did was make that car so hard to drive that we weren't having any passing. We weren't having any strategy. Over the first, couple races, I was just like, what is this, Yeah. But as things have progressed and they're trying to make changes, and I can speak more freely, and I do on the podcast because we're no longer in NASCAR. So, but Derrike may have to go back there at some point. So I have to be tame.
We all have
I know. I have to hold my tongue all the time.
Yeah, if we still want our media credentials or hard cards, we do have to.
That's right.
That's right. I think that, and I've been straight up with it, and I know Scott Miller, and I know a couple of big people from NASCAR. I just think that what NASCAR tried to do is they tried to grow it into something that it really wasn't. Okay. Yes. Road course is not NASCAR. They have 2 great courses that they ran for years at Sonoma, Watkins Glen. I just think adding all this other stuff. People want to see NASCAR. They want to see that beating and banging. They want to see that fender. They want to see it the way it was when Derrike was running, when Earnhardt, when Rusty Wallace, the pet, all that. I mean, and now it just seems like it's got to this lead follow thing, lead follow until 10 laps to go. And then somebody's going to throw the bumper, and then somebody's going to get upset. And I'm just get rid of the stage racing, get rid of all this stuff, put the cars on the track. If you got to make a pit under a green flag, stop this stage stuff and letting them come in for freebie this and freebie that and change the tires and no. Just get back to racing. I'll be quiet. I'm getting worked up.
I would agree with you on a lot of those things. I think stage racing has made, maybe a few more wrecks, a few more, like pit stops are people's entertainment now. So when you do have the stages, you get the whole it's kind of like a pit stop break, and everyone gets to watch everyone's pit stop. So from a TV viewership point, I can see where they would think that is better and more entertaining. But from a sports side, it really does change who would really win that race when, like you said, you're giving them a lot of freebies. So it's not so much about the driver having the endurance to make it to the end as it used to be. And it's not so much about the strategy of the crew chief as it used to be, because now you do have a lot more advantages.
I agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have spent the last hour and a half with the Copes, and it is always such a pleasure. You guys got a trip planned to Las Vegas coming soon?
You know what? We don't have any road courses in Las Vegas planned. There needs to be one, but I think Derrike's out on the West Coast in a couple of weeks, and I'm not quite sure when.
Wherever he gets to, maybe if it's close, we'll try to get out there too. We've been making trips. I told Derrike we've been doing speedway motorcycle racing. We've branched out to just about everything, and it's been such a pleasure. And I showed Derrike the shoes. Did you see the shoes?
I did, and I love that campaign. Yes, I watched the advertisement. That's awesome. That's and everyone needs shoes, and shoes wear out, and that's a great cause that you're doing. And it's you can just see that the people that you're giving the shoes to, they just light up like, oh my gosh, you're actually giving these to me.
Yeah,
that's great.
Diane, take us home with
a lot of fun with it. Yes,
it's been a lot of fun, and it's pleasurable. And I think this. You've done things like this before. When you look in their eyes and you look in their faces,
yes,
and when you hand them a $25 pair of tennis shoes,
it's very humbling. That's for sure.
It's unbelievable. It really is. Diane, final words with her.
Well, Elyshia, is there anything else that you want to let everybody know? You can go ahead and plug your wellness stuff, because I'm game. So
all right. Well, for Derrike, it's derrikecope.club or racetheory.club, and the Race Theory podcast is available on pretty much any platform that you listen to your podcast on. Just type in Race Theory with Derrike and Elyshia Cope. And then my Instagram is @HealthCoachCope, and my Facebook, Elyshia Cope, and you can find all of my information there.
And we will certainly post everything up on our accounts and everything else for you too. It has been such a pleasure. We miss you guys. We miss the 2 times that you come out here to Las Vegas. We're going to make our way back to East Coast. In fact, I got an email from Jeff Motley the other day saying, that you can go to any SMI track you want to go to. Just let us know where you want to go. And since we built this thing, I can't wait for you guys to go back to see it, because what we did is that Gene just totally made this thing that we can pack this show up in 30 minutes. And we can take it anywhere. It's unbelievable what we've done. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thanks for having me. And you both have a great rest of your evening.
You guys too. Thank you guys so much.
We're going to come back. We're going to take the final wrap of the show here today. Thank you so much. Bye. Elyshia Cope will join us. Derrike, thank you so much in the background, buddy. We'll be back to close it out right after this, everyone, on Pit Road Racing, live from downtown Las Vegas, WCOBM.
The bright lights, the glitz, the glamour. It all means nothing without a shot. A chance to turn dreams into reality. To change your destiny. To make history. Nothing's given. Everything earned. It's more than a race. It's a shot at a championship.
Let's go get a championship, baby!
The NASCAR playoffs return to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the South Point 400, October 13th through 15th.
Are you ready for the wildest ride on Fremont Street? The Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience. 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171 on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. Open 7 days a week, noon until midnight. Strap yourself in, pull your safety belts tight, and feel the power and the speed at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience. Downtown Las Vegas, Fremont Street, 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171, right on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. What are you waiting for? Log on, get your tickets now. It's time to go racing at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience, 450 Fremont Street, downtown Las Vegas.
Welcome to my world. Handicap man down at a charity feed. Great spread this morning. God, it was horrible. But it made what I needed to happen. Then I had these people that stopped and said, "Hey, you want some shoes?" I said, "Yeah, I was going to need to get some anyway. So might as well." And if it really comes to fruition, help them buy more shoes so that we can help more people. Now, I'm not but you know what I mean. Hell, might as well. There's nothing wrong with helping someone. You know, it makes for good karma or good energy, whatever it takes. Hell, I ought to do a product placement for Coca-Cola, too.
You're pushing it, Turtle, but have a good day. Thanks, mate. I appreciate you coming on camera.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man.
All right, talk to you later.
Later, dude.
And there we are back. On a program on Pit Road Racing. Welcome back here for you for the New Live downtown Las Vegas. Special thanks to Derrike and Elyshia for joining us today, man. They are such great guests, great people, man. You know what, Diane? I think you got that date written down, October 8th. We're jump a plane. We'll go to Charlotte, and we'll go hang out with the coach. You know, I've never been to.
That was such a fun interview. Talking to them. They're just two amazing human beings. They are. I mean, it's like they can do anything. You know,
they are one of the nicest guys in the pits. I mean, it reminds me of Derrike. Never lost his touch on grassroots, and look, we've seen him help people out, give things to do things, help them out. And I mean, one of the nicest guys, bend over backwards to do anything for you. And I wish all those guys, both him and his wife, the most. They're just great friends, great partners of this show, and we just love them to death. Hey, real quickly, Diana, if you don't mind, I want to jump in just real quickly. I want to give some local shout outs here real quickly. Just some things that were going on, and let me flip my messenger. There it is. That's what I was looking for the local. Hey, this weekend, don't forget to get back in racing action at the Bull Ring here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Gates open up at 5. Racing starts at 7 p.m. LBMS.com. Get your tickets at the gate Saturday night. Be Pro late models, legend cars, bandos, skid plates, 602 modifieds will be there, and you're going to have a great time. Real quickly, I want to shout out our good friends at the Bowman Gray at the Madhouse in Winston-Salem. They had their season opener last weekend. 200-lap modified race out there. Chris Fleming won the first one. Lee Jeffries picked up the second win. Doubleheader in the Sportsman, too. Chase Robinson and Michael Adams were your winners there. Street Stock saw Byron Sykes Jr. win the Street Stock Stadium Stocks, a doubleheader with that. Brendan Brindle won the first, and Chuck Wall ran the second one. Up next, coming up this weekend, the Madhouse will be back in action, man. We get back to North Carolina, we got to get back to the Madhouse. If you've never seen, tell them, Diane, if they've never seen a racetrack, this thing is wild as wild can be.
It's an experience. Everybody needs to have an experience at Bowman Gray.
Next week we'll take a look at Bubba Raceway Park, New Smyrna, and Cherokee, along with our good friends up in Langley. So we'll get some results and talk to those people up there. I pulled some things up, Diane. Wanted to see how you thought about this, and we'll get ready to close the show out here in about 10 minutes or so. I got the latest Vegas odds on winning the championship. Okay. Now, who do you think has been the biggest mover in the last 3 weeks as far as betting wise goes?
The biggest mover.
Biggest mover.
I'd say Kyle Larson.
You're wrong, but you had the first name right, but it wasn't Kyle Larson. It was Kyle Busch who has made his way. He is a plus 600 right now. The money line going like this right now, the best odds on the market right now is Kyle Larson at a plus 550. Then comes Kyle Busch at a plus 600. Chase Elliott at a plus 700. Then the next closest one to him, Ross Chastain. Okay. Wow. Then Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell. They're all linked into that. So in my long shot, if you're looking at a long shot to win the championship this year, I think I would right now, I'd either go with Tyler Reddick or the bad dog in the pound, Kevin Harvick, on his final season, man. That's what I'm looking. Yep, final season for them. Also, did you hear today? We got Martin Truex Jr. that got into the top 25. And Brad Bad K got in there too. Brad Keselowski, man, he's in on the top 25, man. That's going to be something, huh?
Yes. I was just happy to see
Okay. Who do we got next week?
Next week we
Kyle Edwards got in. Yeah, so far it's been.
Yeah. Next week we have
Colton.
What?
Next, yes, Angel was right. You had it right. Angel Golden. That's right. She is gas. Yes, that's right. She drives in the NHRA. She's not a top fuel or a funny car, but she drives the real fuel stuff in a gas situation. So we're going to have her coming on. And let's see who else after that. We've got our good friends. At who else? You've got this lined up. Where are we at next? Have you got that?
Let me grab my calendar, but
there you go. Grab your calendar. I thought you'd have that open. There we go.
Okay, so we have Angel Golden on the 10th, and we have Nick Laudenbach. He drives the bomber at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway bull ring.
Yep, that's right. He started off as a crew chief, as a guy working on the cars, and now he's up into a super late. So we're going to talk to him. He's coming up. Great grassroots racer.
I'm working on a couple of grassroots racing people. I think his name is it Hayden Plybon?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm just waiting for an email. I gave him a couple of dates and stuff. I'm just waiting for a response back from him. I'm going to be talking to the PR rep for GMS Racing here real soon. We're going to get those guys on.
I actually got hooked up with a person.
If there's anybody out there that that knows of a grassroots racer, local racer from wherever, anywhere, send them our way. We'd love to talk to them.
There you go. At onpitroadracing@gmail.com, 702-803-0875, anytime from 9 to 5. That's where you can get in touch with us out there. And, of course, we'll be back next week right here, 5 to 7 p.m., right here at the WCOBM. Once again, want to thank the Copes for coming on. We're looking, just love those folks, and we're looking forward to having some good time. That also got lined up. We've got Jeff Motley. Brendan Gaughan's going to be coming on this program. We're going to do a special live remote from Brendan's granddaddy's suite over at the El Cortez Hotel here in Las Vegas. This should be something.
Cool.
Taking Brendan back down a little memory lane there. And, of course, Jeff Motley. They've got a great show that they do out of the South Point. And if you've I got to get the information where you can actually, the time that you can pick this up. But Brendan is hilarious. He is. I mean, he'll get you laughing. It's a good time. It certainly is. Anything else that you'd like to say for today?
Nope. I'm just, I'm still speechless from the interview. I just had a good time. I just had a really good time with Derrike and Elyshia. They're so down home, and I like it that Elyshia, she'll just tell it like it is.
She'll tell it like it is.
If you don't like it, don't listen to it.
Deal with it.
Right now, that's a great attitude to have. It is.
It certainly is. Well, we're going to be back at you next Wednesday afternoon, 5 to 7 p.m. Just right there. We're actually pushing pretty close to the time today, so we got about an hour and a half in, but we got wrapped up. We want to thank the Copes that we're going to clean and cut this show. It's going to be up on our YouTube. That's youtube.com/On Pit Road Racing. Then, of course, we'll have it up on all of our social media events. Once again, thanks to the Copes. Indy Mike up there, he'll be getting back with us, and I know Mike is at 45th year this year if he makes the Indy 500. That's remarkable that you can go that many times. But,
I know.
Diane, I'm going to cut us loose.
And
Go
just don't forget, if you guys really want to listen to a really good podcast, just go to Race Theory with Elyshia and Derrike Cope. Just go to your podcast and put in Race Theory. It's a great podcast. Very interesting. I mean, you'll learn things that you thought you knew, but you didn't.
I told her myself, I learned some things being in this business over 30-some years, and I learned some things along the way by just watching and listening to her podcast. So that's it. Yeah. Diane, thanks so much. I'm going to cut us out. We got John Lindquist, John the announcer, ready to take us home. It's Alan Michaels, Diane Fox on Pit Road Racing, live from the WCOBM, downtown Fremont Street, the home in Las Vegas, Nevada. We'll see you all next week, everybody. Have a good one.
Next week.
Thanks for joining us for On Pit Road Racing. Follow us on our website, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at On Pit Road Racing. On Pit Road Racing is written and produced by WCOBN TV. I'm John the announcer for On Pit Road Racing.